Awesome. Yeah. So I guess we can start from here. We are on live stream right now. So hi guys, this is Chris from DoraHacks, and welcome to another BNB Revelation Hackathon's project demo sessions. I'm gonna be the host for this session, so it's very happy to meet you guys today. So a little bit background for this Revelation Hackathon. So actually, this is the first time, the first hackathon after BNB, the whole BNB chain ecosystem's rebranding, and it is a 600K hackathon prize pool, and also a 10 million seed funding opportunities hackathon, which is great. And the whole BNB chain has also invites many big name sponsors to join this hackathon as sponsors and judges. Um, so this is actually very exciting opportunities for all the projects and developers who would love to building in the BNB chain ecosystems. It's gonna you guys could potentially gain great exposures in front of the whole BNB chain community and also the official team. So today we are very happy to have 5 teams with us. They are Orochi, Decentralized Random Number Generator, lihi, Authenticator, Zecrey, Hotpot, and Aquari. Yeah, and as you guys can all see, we also have a few judges to join us. They are Peter, Darren, and Gwen from Binance and BNB Chain, also Stanley from Anchor, and Arnav from GuildFi. Yeah, cool. So without further ado, let's welcome the first team, which is the Archie decentralized random generator to start. So you're gonna have 10 to 12 minutes to present. So try to present the most important parts for the whole project. And it's your time right now. Feel free to start. You are muted. Don't forget to unmute.
I'm Chiro from Orochi Network, and we try to build maybe the first decentralized random number generator. And back to 2015, I'm working at the first blockchain startup in Vietnam, and I also work on the topic about the decentralized random number generator. Um, so um, I want to introduce about the vision of the project. So we want to bring the fairness and transparency to decentralized gaming, and we also want to lower the cost to generate the randomness and create the high throughput cross-chain randomness. And for right now, every project try to use maybe use the VRF to generate the randomness, but it's not actually the randomness. And the question is when people try to build up the metaverse and also try to issue the game item, what is the randomness they're going to use to decide who win the item and who win the game, or even for GameFi. So we want to build the first trustless sort of randomness and allow people uh, to leverage our security and we want to become the first source of the randomness. Okay, let's talk a bit about the technical foundation. So we do research in the decentralized random number generator and also see the potential way to approach. Like we see the DRAN project, they try to do the random generation with the threshold signature and also about the multi-party computation. So for us, we have different approach. We build the randomness with the process using the public verifiable secret sharing. So everyone can participate into protocol and also they can generate randomness and contribute the randomness to build up the grant and randomness. So we can warranty to make the randomness unpredictable for a certain duration. So below here is the link that we link to our protocol, and it describe how we generate randomness. Right now, we do the compare with another project like the VRF. You may see some projects using VRF right now, just like Chainlink. We do compare in some several topic right now, like decentralization, and unpredictable, and nothing at stake, and high throughput. So the topic is to warranty that the random number generator is truly decentralized or not. So right now we try to build up the like another project like DRAN. They have a better approach than VRF, but you see nothing to prevent people to do the secret withholding or um, generate they're not going to cooperate with the people in the process to generate randomness. So we try to fix this issue and provide decentralized our decentralized RNG. So we define the architecture, and we allowed we now try to build the first POC. Uh, so the DRNG network protocol will be implemented based on lib peer-to-peer and allow every node to talk together. And we also develop a packet like PRF, public verifiable secret sharing and virtual voting. And every people who participate into the protocol um, can interact with each other to generate the randomness. And later on, they can commit this result to the smart contract. And this randomness generator can commit the randomness to the smart contract, allow them to leverage its security to secure the process to issue the item, like the game item, or even making the game decision, or even for rolling a die for a game or a lottery. Here is our link to our resource. We have the GitHub repo, the POC, and the project document. And also, we also public our financial reports, like every grant we receive and how we use it. Yeah. So for project right now, we on the discuss and research to step forward to development. And the project is open source and available, so everyone can contribute and join it to build up the decentralized RNG. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for the presentation. And let's see if our judges have any questions for the Orochi team. Yeah, so feel free to unmute and ask or provide some comments for the team right now, judges.
Hey, thanks for the demo. I was just curious, can you help explain more about how Orochi will be more decentralized than Chainlink VRF?
Okay, the first thing Chainlink VRF is just maybe it's just one or several centralized server. Like people can actually generate the randomness with VRF. They just need the pair of public key, a key pair of public key and secret key, and then they can draw the randomness based on the sys. So people can actually select a several value, and then they can choose which one to commit. So it is a little bit depend on the the channeling, because you need to trust provider. For us, a little our approach is very different. Like everybody can join, run the nodes, and participate into the project to generate randomness. For example, I'm going to generate randomness. I'm split that randomness into like to share, and then I distribute the share to the other people. They also participate with us, and also they share the share of randomness. So actually, in the early stage, not everyone know about the grand randomness. So it takes time for people to sync the data, and then they can build up the last random result. So our approach is a little bit different to DRAN and the other project too, because some project the result will be predictable, or it require people to trust the provider. But for us, we don't need that trust. People just need to trust in mathematics and then cryptography.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also in one of the table you mentioned, so Chainlink, it offers high throughput. So is this
Yeah.
something Orochi cannot offer at this time?
Yeah. Actually, we I'm 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 uh, I'm feel the like the rectangle with like the orange, like actually for a centralized system, it can provide a high throughput because it's just maybe just one server, and it can commit the result every time people request a smart contract. So for Orochi, it is a network, and it very decentralized, and it takes time for node to reach the consensus. But for us, we try to build like the the way to help to generate the randomness, but more flexible. Like we can decide how much people going to join to generate randomness. So it will be faster than the DRAM approach, but it will be slower than a little bit slower than channeling.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you help talk more about the team background? Like you have any
Um,
previous experiences in this sector?
Yeah. For me, I'm working the first blockchain startup in Vietnam, and my role is like the R&D R&D engineer, and I'm doing research in this field for around 7 years. And we published a paper about how to leverage the blockchain, um, like blockchain security to generate randomness. We call it like the in the papers flexible proof of work. Like we're using proof of work to generate randomness. And for now, I'm doing research into another stuff and try to bring it to PRNG. And my team is has the several like colleagues who work with me in this project. They are the seniors blockchain developer, and also we have around 20 people is the open source contributor, and they join us to build this project.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah.
If I don't understand wrong, so basically you require your partners or other community member to run the node for your randomness
Yeah.
generator, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, I would like to know what is the cost. I'm not talking about the server cost. I'm talking about if you interact with the smart contract, it should incur
Yeah.
the gas fee. Like, do
Yeah.
you have token? Like how you incentive your community member to run the server or to run the node, and
Yeah.
how the token economics was designed?
So firstly, we the first thing we try to build is like the POC is about DING for BNB chain, and and we allow people maybe purchase the randomness with the native token, and also allow the nodes operator to receive the incentive in the native token. So for right now, we didn't think about the economic and about the token for the RNG.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So at some point, I think to purchase the resource from the DRNG, like with their native token, is much more easier for people to do, and also like some sort of the one ways payment channel can be useful to do the payment process, to take care of the payment process.
Hey, Chiro, Harry here. So
Yeah.
what's the cost for looking like for using a DRNG compared to using Chainlink VR app?
I think it's about I can reduce the cost about 10 times.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically for Chainlink, it's for if it's $20, you guys only cost like $2.
Yeah.
Got it.
We try to do that.
Great. So last call for the Orochi team. If there's no more questions, we can move to the next project. Cool. Yeah. So Chiro, thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you very much for joining us today. Very interesting project. Yeah. And right now we're gonna move to the second project to present today, which is the lihi Authenticator. Yeah. So Tony.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. And feel free to start.
Okay. I'm a little nervous, so give me 1 second. Let me share my screen real quick. Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. Oh, yeah. Right now it's good.
Okay. I'm gonna get started on why we're doing this, because about 2 months ago, Falcon is my partner. He lost his cell phone, and basically he lost everything inside the authenticator. And a month ago, I switched my cell phone, so same thing happened to me, and which gave us a lot of problem, because whenever we are trying to here's what most of the servers are like, because when you log in, you need your authenticator. But when you lose your authenticator, you cannot log in, you cannot reset it. It becomes a lot of trouble. So about a week later, Falcon developed this project which allow you to store your key on the blockchain. And what we do is, so instead of this project is actually already live, and we kicked this live about a week ago. And I'm just gonna do a little demonstration on how this works and let you guys see what this project is about. So basically, we made a little video on the instruction, but I'm just going to show you the process on how this works. So basically, you should make sure your wallet is on the BSC chain and connect your wallet. And initially, you need to set up your passcode, because the passcode is actually not a password. We use this code to encrypt the key before we put it on the blockchain, so this thing cannot be reversed. So when you open the authenticator, you actually has the authenticator. I'm actually personally already using this authenticator, so I have like Binance and Cloudflare and FTX and stuff like that on the authenticator. And the current status of the project, because this is actually a live project, we start collecting the whitelist about 2 weeks ago, and we start off with about 150 people. And we actually gave out the project to the whitelist 3 days ago to 150 people, and that's the current status right now. And what we are trying to do is the future is, first of all, we want to optimize the website, and number two is we want to build a referral system, because I'm the marketing guy in the company. So what I focus is on how to get this thing marketed properly. And another thing we're trying to do is we want to build a backend for data analytics, because without the data analytics, we can really set the price, and we can really optimize the site. And with the little data, it will be easier for us to build the app. And the advantage we actually have is we have a 4,000 people Discord group, and I personally have 20,000 followers on my Facebook. So to get a project kickstarted is actually pretty easy for me. But to be honest with you, I'm not sure if this project is going to be successful. So I'm going to kick this off first and collect the data, and I'm going to optimize the site from the data and see how far we can take about this project. And basically, it's a very, very simple tool, and which allows you to that when you lose your phone, when you switch your phone, you never lose your authenticator. And this is what this is all about. And yeah, this is all we have. And thank you for listening. If you have any question.
Doing so, basically you put your secret key, basically.
I can actually present how this works right now real quick. Well, basically you mint an authenticator, and let's say if you want to do a finance test, and whenever you set up your authenticator, the service provider will give you a key. Let's say if the key is, I'm going to type in a random key, and you click mint.
You're not screen sharing. Yeah, okay, got it.
Screen sharing?
Now you are.
Oh, can you not see my website?
Now we can.
Oh, now you can? Okay. Well, I guess were you able to see it earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just did a little demonstration, but I guess that was skipped. I'm going to do it again. Give me 1 second. Well, here's how this thing works. You log in, you click mint your authenticator. Let's say is the if server is Binance BNB. And whenever you set up your authenticator, they will give you a private key. So you put your private key in there, you click mint. What was the first one? And give it a second. Whenever it's finished, and there's your 2FA code. And this is being stored on the blockchain pretty much forever, and you will never get lost. So whenever you switch your phone, you lose your phone, it's never going to be a problem. It's just a simple tool that we developed that I hope that can benefit a lot of people whenever the new iPhone comes out. So, yep, this is it. So is there any question for us?
Hi, I'm a little bit confused. I thought the whole point was that you had, 2FA is that you have it on your phone and a device, and if you're putting it out there for everyone, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Am I missing something?
The 2FA is on your phone, but the key is actually stored with your phone. But when the key is stored with your phone, whenever you lose your phone, the key is gone, and you cannot log into the service to get the key again. So the only way to restore it, you actually have to contact the customer service. But to answer your question is, we put it on the blockchain, but before we put it on there, we actually encrypt it with Falcon. What exactly is our encryption method?
AES.
Okay, we actually encrypted the entire key before we put it on the blockchain. And encryption is actually not reversible. So putting it on the blockchain, other people might be able to see it, but they will not be able to reverse it. And the benefit is actually putting on the blockchain is that you whenever you lose your phone, your code is always there.
But it's possible to use dictionary to brute force the decryptions. It's just like the demo you give us. The
Actually,
key is very, very simple. Using dictionary is enough to decrypt it.
Actually, is not. I'm gonna see if Falcon can actually explain this on how our encryption works, because we actually use AES and we use a hash, and we don't actually put the code, like put the key on there.
I know.
If that makes any sense.
Okay.
Falcon, briefly explain how the encryption works.
Okay. Dictionary is a tech. If the user's password is very, very simple, like 1, 2, 3, 4, it's possible to decrypt. Yes. So, but with Web3, this responsibility is for everyone. Not a centralized. We keep a secret for everyone, protect everyone, but I centralize. Now,
actually, let me add this.
Yes.
Let me add this real quick before you actually retrieve your authentication code. You have to have the wallet as well. So in order to actually to have someone actually hack into this, number one, they need to have your wallet. Number two, they need to know the password you use to encrypt the key. There's actually two steps to if you want to break into this. And even if you only have the password, even if you use the brute force to try to hack this thing, we actually use the pretty high standard encryption method, and it's pretty much it's almost impossible to reverse it. I mean, if you want the technical details, we can actually provide the technical details later, but we actually test this for a while already.
Hey guys, I just want to ask about on the debug side. So for those use cases that require 2FA, I think it's mostly on centralized websites or databases, right? And for these, and they usually you can use email or your phone number or something else to recover, right? If you lost, because I lost my phone several times, and I do lost these QR codes. But then I can use my email address, my phone number to get it back. Or
actually,
like when you first set it up.
Actually, if you lose your authenticator, you're not able to log in. You're not even able to identify yourself. So the only way to recover this, you have to call customer center, because when Falcon and I both, when he lost his phone, when I switched my phone, I cannot log into my Cloudflare, and you cannot retrieve it because number one, you can log in and they cannot identify who you are. So there's just no way you can retrieve it. Even with the Binance, it's the same.
Yeah, I think for when you first set up the QR code, there's the 2FA, there's either a QR code or some kind of random number generator. You can use that to generate the QR code again, right? If you store it properly, you can still get back.
If you store your key somewhere else, and when later on, if you lose your phone, then if you still have the key, then yes, you can regenerate that. But most people actually don't keep their key on hand. Don't keep their keys on hand. There's one thing. And number two thing is, if you want to reset this, first thing you have to log in. But without the code, you can't log in. I mean, this is the problem that we actually faced like 2 months ago. So and this is actually why we developed this project. Actually, we're actually using it.
Got it. Thank you.
And guys, I have a quick question. So I think so. Let's the tool you guys built is pretty neat. But then in terms of just want to check if you guys had any thoughts on the commercialization, like in terms of revenue generation.
Okay, here is what I have in mind. Right now we rolled out the whitelist for free to about 150 people, and we just collect another whitelist for about 300 people. We're gonna roll that out. For the first group of people, we actually give them for free and free to use. They have 20 slots where they can input their authentic 2FA. for the second group of people, we actually give out only 5 slots for free. And why we are doing this is because I want to use those data to figure out how many authenticators each person use on average. And after I get the average number, so far the average looks like it's about 4 to 5 is what people are using. So after we get the average number, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna let people sign up for free, and I'm gonna give them 3 slots for free, because most people use 4 or 5. So I'm gonna give them 3 slots for free. And after they use up the 3 slot, whenever they want to increase the authenticator, they have to mint a new slot. And when they mint a new slot, and I'm gonna be really, really honest, because this is so early stage, I don't even know what price I'm gonna set. But the thing is, I will set the price based on the data and based on the customer feedback. Because right now, if you want me to give you a set number on how I'm going to, like how much I'm gonna set, how I'm gonna generate a revenue, and to be honest with you, without the data, without the customer feedback, I cannot give you that. So I'm going to get data based on my first 500 people. Then after that, I will decide a price on the mint.
Earlier, you said you were not confident that this project would take off. Why?
I'm sorry. Well,
Earlier,
I'm not confident on why this project will take off. Is because there's a lot of people that use cell phone, and there's a lot of people that don't use 2FA authenticator. But as time goes on, more and more people will use it. And I'm not confident on the project will take off now, is because I mean, people are lazy. They already use what they're already using. They're not going to change their habit just because you have a new project. But whenever a new iPhone comes out, whenever a new phone comes out, whenever they switch their phone, the moment they lose their authenticator, that's when they realize this is the tool they're gonna be using. They're gonna need. So this project, in my opinion, is not going to be an overnight thing, but it's going to be a long term that more and more people will start using. More and more people, when they switch their phone, when they lose their phone, they will realize how important this thing is. So my vision is actually this is not going to be an overnight thing, but in the long run, more and more people will be using it. That's my and my final goal is I'm hoping one day a Web 3.0 blockchain authenticator can replace the old authenticator where people download to their phone, key store on their phone, and whenever they switch their phone and they just have to redo everything. I mean, imagine you have to redo, like I have about 5 or 6 different 2FA code. Imagine you have to redo everything, calling 6 different customer services just to reset this. That's a whole day thing that you have to do. So
hey Tony,
yes.
Harry here. Actually, I have 2 questions. So
Sure.
I think the first one, you keep mentioning, the inconvenience for switching phone, but like you do know, like you can export them, in one batch. And
actually, we tried it on the Google Authenticator, and actually you cannot export this.
No, you can. Basically, I mean, no matter it's iOS or it's Android, you can export all of the key, in one batch, and directly export them to a new phone.
Are you sure? Because I'm
Yeah,
looking at it right now.
Yeah, sure, but your phone must exist. If you store
Yeah. So that's
and cannot be
that's the first question. And
yes,
the second question is,
we know that
you do understand, for 2FA, it's mainly used for centralized platform, like centralized exchange.
Right.
So would that defeat the purpose? I mean, like, to me, I just don't feel like it's like you use like decentralized or even like a solution to secure a centralized, logging information. So I just feel like it's I mean, of course there's neither, but I just don't think it's that necessary, for this process, because in the end you are still logging to your centralized platform.
In the end, you still log into your centralized platform. You mean the service provider or actually our service?
I'm just trying to get, what's the value proposition to store your 2FA decentralizedly while you are actually use it for a centralized service?
Yeah, that's my question as well. Why does it require a blockchain? Actually, you can use AWS to build the same thing. You don't have to save it to like Binance Chain or things like that.
Sure, but if you use a Web 2.0, so I mean, I have a software company in Taiwan that is a Web 2.0 software company. But if you actually store this on a Web 2.0 platform, then you have the risk of getting hacked. The database gets stolen. I mean, our company was actually hacked 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and
but
we
put
lost
onto the blockchain, everybody can read it. Is that then what's the point to hack it?
What do you mean? What's the point of hacking it?
Yeah, you said because you're afraid the database to be hacked. I mean, someone who should not have access actually get access to the database. But you put the data onto the blockchain, everyone on the world can read the data freely.
Well, number one, that data is never going to be gone. And number two, in order to retrieve the data, you need your wallet to verify yourself, and you need a code. And the code is actually not a password to get into the app. The code is actually used to decrypt the key, so you can get the code, you can get the 2FA back. And this is not something you can do on the Web 2.0 project. Because if you do a 2.0 Web 2.0 project, you store on the server, and if the database is gone, that's gone forever. And we want this thing to be on there forever, at the same time not hackable. And that's why we put the encryption on there, we put it on the blockchain, and in the middle, there's a wallet to verify the. Anyone else with question? You guys still with us? Hey, Chris, your mic is on mute.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I guess that's probably the last shot for questions for the lihi Authenticator team. Otherwise, maybe we can jump to the other project. But definitely a very interesting discussion there. And to me, I personally think there's definitely some value added for the decentralized 2FA storage. But definitely still it's a very early stage project, and let's see like how it goes and how it's gonna be built in the future. But anyway, thank you very much, Tony, and also Falcon for joining us today. And thanks for all the participation and the timing and the discussion that you just did. Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
Yeah. And let's jump to the next project today, which is the Zecrey. So let's waiting for a few seconds for the Zecrey team to join the meeting room.
Testing. That my mic is working. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hi, Jerry. Nice to see you again.
Yeah,
so feel free to start when you're ready.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly share a window just with the PowerPoint that we have prepared. Bear with me. Okay. All right, I am ready when you are.
Yeah, feel free to start. We already.
Okay, cool. So this is the PowerPoint. There we go. Can everyone see the PowerPoint?
Yep.
Great. So hi everyone. So thanks for hosting us, Chris. Good to see you again. Hello to the judges and the community. My name is Jerry, and I started dabbling in blockchain with mining Bitcoins in 2017 before working with cryptocurrency funds, investing and incubating for projects, which led to discovering Zecrey and my role as the CMO for the project. I also have with me Sher, who is one of the main developers and founders for this project. Now, Zecrey is a layer 2 cross-chain solution based on ZK rollup with a familiar wallet interface that is easy to use. Our vision is to help enable cross-chain interoperability by providing existing Web3 users access to commonly used features related to their digital assets, such as automatic market making based cross-chain swaps, staking, easy to use deposit, transfer, and withdraw functions from multiple blockchains, as well as some much needed privacy features for transactions. Now, a big part of the reason why we focus on providing a variety of features in an easy to use interface under one roof is to hopefully make it easier for Web2 users to step into the blockchain world. So we try to enable as much Web3 features as we can in terms of interacting with digital assets, including NFTs, while incorporating aspects of Web2 designs, such as allocating a username to the wallet layer 2 wallet address on Zecrey. And we are finalizing the design of an alternate way to create a new wallet on Zecrey, where you can use social logins such as Gmail, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Then we separate the private key into 3 segments that further splits into the Tor network, local device, and recovery share so that we get a balance of convenience and security. Now, once we're comfortable with the stability of the core features, then we will be integrating social gaming and finance related services into our app chain. We have over 20 team members working on the project with a broad spectrum of expertise, where some of our developers have experience working for Google and advisors who used to work for Goldman Sachs. So I'm going to take this opportunity to use our testnet to showcase the core functions of Zecrey in both layer 1 and layer 2, where I will show everyone how you can view your digital assets from various blockchains on layer 1, make a standard transfer from one layer 1 wallet to another, basic interactions with some Zecrey NFTs in your layer 1 wallet, make a deposit to layer 2, and then some basic functions that you can take advantage of in layer 2. So I'm going to swap my screen over to, let's see, I'm going to share another screen. Okay, can you see my full screen, Chris? Okay. Just making sure that everyone can see my screen. I'll move on to this tab. Okay. So once you've downloaded your Zecrey wallet from either Zecrey.com or the Chrome Web Store, you can access it from most browsers on the top right-hand corner over here. This is where you open the wallet extension. I'll move back to this interface. Now, so this is the main interface where you can view all of your digital assets in one place from layer 1. As you can see, you have an overview of your various digital assets, Ray tokens, Ethereum, Polygon Matic, etc. You can change the view, so you can view it by the chain that they're on, whether it's Ethereum, Polygon, Aurora, Avalanche, BNB, Chronos, and even non-EVM chains like Near. But I prefer this view where you view by token. So the first function that I wanted to show everyone is a transfer function, basic transfer from one layer 1 network wallet to another. Click on transfer. Say if I want to transfer some Ray token to another wallet, put in the address, put in the amount of Ray token that I would like to transfer, choose the amount of fees that I would like to pay to help accelerate the speed of the transfer. Click on transfer and then confirm my fees. Done. Now, keep in mind the transfer speed and the transaction fee depends on the current status of the network that we're transferring on, whether it's BNB Chain, Polygon, or Ethereum. Now, the second function that we'll go over is the NFTs. So over here, you can see the NFTs that you have in your wallet. You can, enjoy your collection, even make interactions like setting it as your avatar. So currently we support the NFTs that's curated by Zecrey, but once the final live version is released, we will be supporting NFTs from all the different blockchains that we support. So you'll be able to enjoy your collection, store your collection, make transfers for different NFTs from different blockchains or from the Zecrey wallet. We'll move back to lock. Now, the locking mechanism is where we provide incentives for users to provide extra liquidity for the layer 2 network by locking some tokens. So in this case, for example, if I want to lock some Matic tokens to get some APR onto the Ethereum network, I have the option of locking 1,000 Matic tokens, and I'll be able to get a certain amount of return, very similar to staking. And over here, deposit. Deposit is where, for example, if you find that the layer 1 network to be a bit congested, for example, Ethereum is a bit slow, or the Polygon network is being slowed down by a really big new GameFi release, or if you just want to enjoy faster transactions and lower transaction fees, that's when you interact with layer 2. So before we do that, we need to deposit some tokens from our layer 1 wallet to layer 2. So in this case, say if I want to deposit some of my Ethereum to my layer 2 wallet. Now keep in mind, when you make a deposit from layer 1 to Zecrey's layer 2, you still maintain the ownership of your digital assets. You don't actually give the digital assets to us. It's a layer 2 scaling solution where we make wrap tokens just to validate the transactions to make sure that people that transfer tokens, you have the tokens that you say you do, and you are the owner of the tokens. So in this case, I will deposit some Ethereum to the layer 2 network. So now on the bottom right hand corner, you can easily swap from layer 1 to layer 2. So over here, by clicking on the bottom right hand corner, we swap over to the layer 2 interface. So very similar to layer 1, you can see these are the different digital assets that you have on your wallet. And say if I want to transfer some USDTs to my friend. Now, one of the beauties of Zecrey is that to make it more user-friendly, instead of having typical public addresses where it's numbers and strings, which is virtually impossible to remember, we allow Zecrey the account creation to be something that's a lot more user-friendly. So you can have usernames that ends with .zecrey as a suffix. In this case, I know my friend's Zecrey's wallet address is Jason. So we want to transfer some USDTs to Jason. And over here, you have the option of making multiple transfers in one go. So say I want to, at the same time, transfer some USDTs to my friend Lily. Hit transfer. Confirm. And that's done. Now over here, you have unlock. Unlock is where it's the opposite of what we did earlier. If you were to lock some tokens onto the layer 2 network, here you have the option of unlocking it. And swap is where, say if I have Ethereum with me, but I want to play a game or buy some NFTs that only accept Polygon, so Matic tokens, I can easily hit swap, go to select Ethereum. Say if I want to swap 0. Ethereum, and we want to get some Matic tokens over here. So liquidity, you have the option of adding liquidity. Just quickly show you guys. So you can add liquidity pairs to the Zecrey network. And at the same time, you'll get some APRs as well. So it's a bit of a financial tool that we give users to help them give them an incentive to provide some extra liquidity to the network. In this case, we'll focus on the transfer hand. We want to swap some Ethereum, Matic. Confirm the rate. Now keep in mind the rate that you see here is not live rate. On the test network, we provide our own liquidity just for demo. So when the network is live, the actual exchange rate is virtually on par with the state transfer rate. So just ignore the actual numbers. In this case, we make the swap and we're done. So we've made the swap into Matic. And lastly, withdraw. Withdraw is where you put the funds that you deposit onto layer 1 to layer 2. So withdraw, you withdraw from layer 2 to layer 1. So in this case, you have the extra flexibility as well. So for example, if I want to withdraw BNB tokens, say even if I deposit BNBs from the Ethereum network onto layer 2, I want to withdraw it. I have the option of withdrawing it to, say, Polygon in the layer wallet address in the amount of BNB I would like to withdraw. Confirm, and you're done. Now keep in mind, whenever you interact between layer 2 and layer 1, and layer 1 to layer 2, the transaction speed depends on the speed of the original layer 1 network. But when you make interaction within layer 2, it's really fast. It's almost instantaneous, and the transaction fee is a tiny fraction of what you would be charged on layer 1 networks. So these are the core functionalities that we have for layer 2 at the moment. So we will be adding extra integration in terms of interaction with GameFi, SocialFi, and financial related apps, but we wanted to make sure that we get our core functionalities working smoothly before we implement the the more fancy stuff, which is part of Zecrey's app chain that is later on in the roadmap in the year for us. And that is all that we have for our demo today. So yeah, thank you to everyone for being with us.
Hi, Jerry. One question about your token. Yeah, can you walk us through its utility and then the value accrual mechanism?
Yep. Hello. Hi, guys. Hello to all the judges.
Yep. Right now it's the Q&A part.
Yeah. Hey, Jerry. One question on your token. Can you walk us through, the value accrual mechanism and its different utilities?
So in terms of the rate tokens, what we had in mind is that for rate tokens, it'll be kind of similar to Binance. So with the rate tokens, we allow the users to use them to pay for fees when they make transactions on layer 2. So for example, if they use rate tokens to pay for transactions, they get a discount, which is a bit similar to what Binance did in the early days. And I believe that's something that you still do as well.
Right. And what are the different like revenue you can charge with your product? It's beside the layer 2 gas fee.
Okay, so we do have a few things in the pipeline. So we do have we have collaborations with various projects where you can use the rate tokens to interact with the other projects, but that is something that we have later on in the pipeline. Maybe something that Sure can share with everyone as well. In terms of rate token utilities?
Yeah, okay. Let me add on something with the retoken. So as mentioned, so retoken can be used as gas fee, and when you use retoken as a gas fee, you will get 20 to 30% discount. So right now our layer 2, the gas fee for layer 2 is very low. So right now it's only cost maybe 0.0x dollars, so it's very cheap, yeah. And but actually another use point is that, so when I want to make the withdrawal transaction in the layer 2 to withdraw assets from the layer 2 to layer 1, so it's a core chain transaction, and we will charge 0.1% to 0.2% fee. And at this moment, you will, when you use the retoken, you will get 30% discount. I think that's a huge amount, yeah. And another part that whenever you hold the retoken, and everyone make a swap in the pool, and we will charge 0.1% fee for the treasury fee, and we will take this part to the retoken holders, yeah. And another part that if I'm the retoken holder, I can share all the system revenues, yeah.
Hey guys. I think the product at this stage is similar to some other browser-based extension wallet, so like MetaMask and XDeFi. How do you differentiate from these competitors, and how would you attract their users to use Zecrey?
Yeah, so I think for the beginning, right now, our core feature in the layer 2 part, our wallet have 2 parts, right? The layer 1 part and the layer 2 part. And the layer 1 part, that of course, that's just the common multi-chain wallet. That's something familiar to MetaMask and also the XDeFi. And the unique point compared with the MetaMask is that we can support non-EVM compatible chains. So right now we already support Near, and then we will support Solana and Terra and Polkadot soon, yeah. And another part is that we can support the multi-chain NFTs in the layer 1 network, and we can help users to use the layer 1 network to manage different NFTs on different blockchains, yeah. And another unique point is that, so the layer 1 is built for the layer 2, yeah. And imagine a scenario is that, so if I'm using the wormhole bridge, so when I'm in the Solana, I need to download 2 different wallets, right? The first is Phantom and another is MetaMask. And when I download 2 different wallets, I need to have 2 different accounts on 2 different blockchains, and I need to make some assets in 2 different blockchains. So at this moment, so if you use Re, and if you use our native wallet in the future, so when we connect to Solana network, you only need 1 wallet is enough, and you only need 1 asset in 1 chain is enough. For example, if I have Ether in the Ethereum and I want to withdraw Ether to maybe to the Solana or maybe to the Polkadot, so when I can just use this Ether, deposit it into a network, layer 2 network, and make a swap in the layer 2 network and withdraw my assets from the layer 2 to the layer 1 network. So the only thing I need to do is just to hold Ether is enough, yeah. So I don't need to buy another account, I don't need to buy another assets, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to rehash on what Sher was saying, everything revolves around just enabling cross-chain interoperability in a easy-to-use place, just to make things convenient for Web3 users. We're hoping that instead of having to, like Sher mentioned, having to download different wallets to interact with different chains, we have our cross-chain support, so you can do all of that in one place, just to make Web3 adoption a lot more user-friendly for a lot of the new users coming from Web2.
Yeah, so last shot for Zecrey's team. Any comments or questions, or we are good to go for the next project today? Yeah, so I guess that's it. And thank you very much, Jerry and Sher, for joining us today. Appreciate your time and participation.
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for hosting us, Chris, and also thanks to the judges for checking us out. Appreciate everyone's time.
For sure.
Until next time. Bye now.
See you soon. Bye-bye. And yeah, let's welcome Hotpot team to start the presentation and TD.
Can you hear me? Is it just for test?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Could you also see my screen?
Yep, we can see the screen.
Okay, great. So I'll start with slides and then go to our website. So basically, hi everyone. So I'm Tidy from Hotpot teams, and here's our project named after Hotpot. So what is Hotpot? So it's basically kind of DAO launchpad, and it's codeless, and it's also based on bonding curve, which is another kind of AMM. Not everything is Uniswap. So the motivation is simple. So we just want to, let's say, aggregate ingredients into one dream, and also lower the barrier for normal peoples. And also it will be less fluctuations from financial shocks because everything is set by the formula rules, bonding curve. And we also want not just people bound to some certain tokens, but they can choose whatever system they want. So it will be a kind of codeless launch, and I will jump to the our website a little bit and come back. So here's our hotpot, and I'm already connect my wallet, and you can see it's only test net stage now. You can see we have some DAOs here, and also you can choose some projects. Take some time for updating. Okay, so you can see a lot of projects. And also, I will show a little bit about how to launch a DAO. If you are just too lazy, you can just randomize your names. And of course, you need to set, let's say, 10 Ethereum for now. And you can see it's bounding curve, which means like all the price has already been set before. And if you just want to get some tokens, you will send some Ethereum. And if you want to get some, if you don't want these tokens, you can sell it back to this contract. That's the basic of bounding curves. We can also see a little bit if you want to donate to something, you can say, okay, I want to donate, let's say, some kind of, I want to get some kind of tokens, and I would just say 10, and I would just say confirm, and let's see a little bit. Maybe it takes some time for MetaMask. Okay, sorry for that. I need to change it to another wallet, which do have the GOE. So, okay, let me connect it. Okay. So if I want, let's say the price now is here and I want to donate some. So basically it will, the price will be here and the kind of this area will be the Ethereum I need to donate. And it's another beauty from the bonding curve is actually, we will give some incentive to join a DAO. Think about that. If you already have a liquidity pool, which means you already kind of a big organizations, but if you are just a DAO, you're kind of worried about, oh, where I can find my liquidity. So by bonding curve, you actually start from zeros and you donate to these curves, kind of. Sorry, it's a little bit technical problem. I don't know why I cannot connect wallet now, but it should be. And let me go back to the PowerPoint. So it's basically these kind of things. And I will try to explain a little bit more about bonding curves. That's our kind of the shining part, different from other DAO launchpad. It's kind of, you can see, if you are here, you throw some Ethereum and you can get some DAO token back. And if you throw this DAO and you will get some Ethereum back. So it's basically AMM. And also, just like a little bit said, but I will explain a little bit more here. So it's basically transparent, definited, and immutable, and we don't need initial liquidity, and it's kind of insensitive for early participants, and it also can reach the equilibrium of consensus automatically. So think about that. If the whole market map is here, and in the traditional old book trading systems, it can actually fluctuate a lot because it's kind of you only need like 1 or 2% share to manipulate the whole market. But by AMM, it's very difficult because you need a lot of real Ethereum to actually pump up this curve to either further, and you will be worried, okay, it will just draw back very soon, and all your Ethereum will be get by other people's. So that's kind of the shining point of us. And I guess the time is very limited for this kind of hackathon. So that's all. Am I still connected? It's a little bit silent. I'm deep worried.
Hey, thanks for the demo. I was curious. Is this similar to like Juicebox, which are providing DAO infrastructure for, like, for example, Constitution DAO? It makes it easier, right?
Yes, it's very similar, like the Juicebox for the Constitution DAO, but we are more likely we want to make this like the token economics more automatically.
I see. Regarding the bonding curve, I think there are several projects also implementing this model. Like one of the Binance incubation program projects, like Mint Club, like when they launched the fan token for their for the token issuers, they also used a linear bonding curve. Yeah, I think.
Yes, we know Mint Club very well, and not as well as you guys, but we do also research a lot. So I think we will be more fluent to token economics. We will allow people to design their own token economics. We can also include some kind of more complicated token economics. Let's say if you are an early investor, you will get very low price, even lower than the bonding curve itself, but you need some kind of lock time to kind of release your tokens, which is kind of a balance between the early investors and the later participants. So our models cannot just include like the regular participant itself. We can also reach the equilibrium between the early participants, like early investors, and the later. So I think we have a little bit of upgrades other than the Mint Club.
Got it. Thank you.
Hey, Arnav from GuildFi here. You mentioned earlier that there was also multi-token support. You know, a lot of games are being launched with the multi-token model. Can you just elaborate a bit more on your multi-token support, please?
Okay, yeah, sure. Could you wait me a little bit? Let me open our white paper. That will be much more illustrative. Let me share again. That's my share. Sorry, I'm very new to this program, sharing program. I typically using Zoom, so it's a little bit taking me time to get used to it. So where's my power? Okay. So this is basically our like much more complicated. I will little bit first explain like what I just said before. So basically you can see this kind of is early investors, their price can just even set to 0, and all of this money will flow to treasury. However, they cannot interact with this bonding curve immediately. They have to kind of wait until some kind of point and they can go out. It's kind of, otherwise the system will be very unstable. Okay, now I will also explain the next people's questions. So so basically, you can see this is kind of our treasury systems, and you can see the bonding curve can be a little bit different for the buy-in and the burn-out. So these tax will be, of course, most of them will flow to their own treasury, but also a little bit will flow to our treasury, and in return we will give them our tokens. And for your questions, it's a little bit more technical, I have to say. So for example, this DAO is in BSC, this DAO is in Ethereum, for examples. And for our treasury, we will write a kind of contract to listen to the stories, what happened in other chains, that will kind of coordinate the share the shared tokens between different chains, even for one DAO. I hope I explain your questions, but it's a little bit more technical. So, but for the first stage, maybe let's say, okay, this DAO is in BSC, this DAO is in kind of in Ethereum. But in the later stage, we will actually write some listening or gossip contract just to ask, okay, what happened in the others? Because just like a BSC, you also listen to other contracts like USDTs. You want to keep the global balance equal. It's kind of difficult between different chains, but it's doable.
Got it. Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much, Tidy, for the presentation. I think, yeah, we can move to the next project today. It's
Okay.
the last project, but not the least, is Aquari. So, Cameron, feel free to start.
Hello. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, please just give me a moment. I'll start sharing my screen. Let's see. Window. Let's go with. Okay. Can everyone see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, let's get started. So, hello everyone, my name is Cameron Clark. I'm a co-founder of Aquari, and I have quite the treat for you all today. So let's get the show on the road. So what is Aquari? Essentially, and in simple terms, what Aquari aims to be is a decentralized environmental conservation organization with a clean to earn token incentive. So for those of you that are like, what does clean to earn mean? What's really trending with GameFi right now in various blockchain games is a play to earn token incentive. And so at Aquari, we thought, hey, if we could somehow figure out a way to incentivize individuals to exchange labor to a Web3 native NGO and use that labor to actually generate cleanups, that can actually give us a competitive advantage compared to traditional environmental conservation organizations. We believe that every industry in the future will evolve into its Web3 enabled equivalent, and Aquari aims to basically disrupt current NGOs and evolve NGOs into what we believe they would look like in the future. So in 2021, the Aquari community came together and formed a grassroots movement to connect the speculative value that's present on-chain to tangible value within the real world. This community saw the bull market of 2021 as there was a lot of super high valuations that were made, but the biggest thing that pretty much concerned us was the fact that all these valuations we see on screen, they don't necessarily translate to that much value in the physical world. And so we thought, okay, what type of project could we build to actually connect these valuations you see on screen to something that actually has a real world impact? So why are we building this? We're building this because existing environmental NGOs suffer from these current major problems. So the number one is that since NGOs are based on a philanthropic model and not a for-profit model, they have huge capital misallocation. We believe that the adoption of the market economy was one of humanity's greatest achievements in the modern era. And so why is it that we have every other industry running for a for-profit model, but environmental conservation, we're using philanthropy? You know, we believe that individuals who create value by restoring our planet should be able to earn profit from the value that they create. And well, when we looked deep into the problem, we found that the issue was that historically, there was no way for individuals who would say allocate their capital to environmental conservation to yield any sort of return. You know, any sort of income would be pocketed by NGOs, and since they're pretty much cash strapped and they have this revenue stream, they pretty much pocket everything, and the market economy isn't able to signal prices correctly. So we believe that we want to tackle this problem at its root and engineer an artificial market force to allow this wealth transfer to happen. And we believe if that wealth transfer is able to happen, then the environmental conservation industry will start to function like any other traditional industry that's present in the world. So NGOs, we found that their market fit historically in industrial era societies before the information age was their function was to connect those with capital who wish to contribute towards environmental restoration and connect them with people who have excess time and labor and they want to contribute that towards environmental conservation. And so NGOs in the grand scheme of things were the middlemen that link these two forces together. Aquari also aims to solve the issue with transparency and public governance. So the beautiful thing about blockchains is the public ledger, which means that all the cash flows and capital allocation that's happening for an NGO is on the public ledger. And if you can actually put this into a nice, easy to read user experience for the user and allow members of the Aquari DAO to govern where their capital should be deployed for efforts, we believe this will completely flip the relationship that consumers have with environmental conservation. So why now? Before 2021, the prerequisite blockchain infrastructure had yet to mature to support such a project. Our economic system and tokenomic system requires a blockchain of low gas fees to be economically viable. You cannot charge fees when Ethereum gas prices are over $100. And while Ethereum has an amazing developer ecosystem, because I find that they're stuck on that in the Ethereum ecosystem, they aren't as free to test other economic models that become economical with low transaction fees. So DAOs are also increasing in popularity, but very few have a use case that aims to solve an actual market need. And environmental conservation, having members of a DAO meet up in person to perform cleanups, this actually gives our users a sense of mission-driven purpose. And like we said earlier, there's a market demand for more transparency from NGOs. Key highlights, we have over 11,000 holders with an active and dedicated community. And one of the strategic benefits that we have is that over 40% of our user base is located within the Netherlands. And the Netherlands being a small geographic country, the competitive advantage that we have is that we're able to actually summon a huge amount of our user base in these early stages to actually attend our cleanups and actually get impact done. Had we not had this concentration of holders, it would be hard to actually summon enough people for said cleanups in these early stages before we scale. The existing market for environmental conservation philanthropy is much smaller than the market for environmental conservation that we will spawn. This is due to the fact that consumers and institutions would rather stake and earn 7 to 14% to save the environment than donate and lose 100% of our capital. So the main value add that we're adding to the consumer is, hey, you can get that same psychological value that NGOs provide with you, but you don't have to lose your capital anymore. What we have done, so we formed a close partnership with UN award-winning environmentalist Malhar Kalambe to clean and maintain the Meti River in Mumbai, India. He has close connections with the local government of Maharashtra, and this has allowed us to bypass the regulatory issues that most startups in the space actually tend to face when working in these types of countries. And we worked with Malhar to use the Meti River and Dadar Beach as a testing ground for fine-tuning our economic system and clean-to-earn thesis. And Malhar was immensely amazed at the huge turnout of workers that would want to show up in order to earn rewards. And what ended up happening is the networking effects of hearing that an organization is actually paying, albeit minimum wage, for such labor, word would spread, and there are unskilled workers that actually came out to actually come and clean. And what you get is you're able to get the impact that you see on the right for a much lower cost than a traditional NGO, because we do not actually have the high cost administrative overhead that regular NGOs have. The capital that's put in our protocol is actually given directly to the workers because they are paid in Aquari. So what differentiates from our competitors? I know I'm running low on time. We believe that environmental conservation organizations of the future must become a for-profit social enterprise in order for us to solve our problems on this planet. My team firmly believes there will never be enough donations to fix this problem. And what ends up happening is our competitors are trying to rebuild existing NGO infrastructure on the blockchain, and we feel that is not the way it should be. What we believe is that you should engineer, I call it market engineering. You want to utilize the blockchain to engineer a market force to allow this capital transfer to happen to those that actually stake their capital. And so one of the benefits that we get with our protocol, since we have a clean to earn model, is that traditional NGOs have to raise capital, then deliver impact, and then market B2C. But Aquari, we actually can just issue our native tokens, deliver the impact, and then market that impact. So we're actually able to deliver impact before we've even asked for money. And impact scaling can be balanced depending on the market forces at play with the Aquari economy. So what benefits does Aquari bring? I'll speed this up, but in certain nations, the duty of environmental conservation falls under the governing authority and power. We believe that once Aquari scales and disrupts NGOs, we can actually begin to approach governments to offer our labor force, which will allow them to, in exchange for government contracts. The benefit is that this government money would actually be distributed to members of their local nation and to local municipalities, thus enriching local laborers. There are also other benefits, as I said, this is mainly a benefit for developing world markets. And in developing markets, it's the sense of community and actually doing good that we bring, if that makes sense, because cleanups are not as economical. Revenue streams, this is the last slide. We can go B2C, which is what we're doing right now, which is disrupting NGOs use case. Then once we have a big enough scaling, we can go B2G, where, hey, we can government or a politician, if you want to clean your community so you can win your next election or get good favor within your local government, you can hire us at a cheaper price and we end up creating jobs in your local municipality. B2B wise, in the future, the world wants to go carbon negative. And what we're trying to do is create a labor generation machine. It doesn't have to be plastic removal. We can also plant trees. So once Aquari has scaled, we can then say plant trees to earn. For example, this generates negative carbon footprint. Aquari could then become accredited to issue carbon certificates, which then we could sell and deposit into the protocol. So, and then there's traditional donation. So these are the 4 different revenue streams that we believe the Aquari project could go down in the various future. And to finalize, I just wanted to showcase a small clip, 30 seconds of one of our cleanups. A community member shot this. And yes, so this is in Pepinster, Belgium. The community decided that we wanted help with the flood relief that was happening because of the floods that happened in Limburg and Central Europe. And so they all met together and we had 60 people turn out to actually perform this cleanup. And this cleanup is mainly for building social ties. So it just improves the relationship with holders and whatnot. And this is our website. Our social media is right here, and that's it. If you want to look at information on our team, you can look at our DoraHacks build. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much, Camero. And also for judges, feel free to ask any questions from your sides.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say that, it's a great initiative, so big props to you and your team, Cameron. I was just wondering a bit more regarding like a bit of the logistics. Is it like, do you use Aquari tokens to pay out those that come to clean, or is it USDC, USDT, or BUSD based, or can you just elaborate?
Yes. So the way it works is individuals are paid out in our native token. So what ends up happening is, for example, in developing nations, it's hard. Most people aren't involved in crypto. So what we do when we move to a new area is we'll actually pay out in a native currency for about a month. And what ends up happening is the segment of people that, are low income earners, but want to, earn money passively through our rewards. What ends up happening is they're able to receive that native currency and it's like, oh, this actually works. And then what ends up happening is after a month, then we say, hey, you actually have to earn like our token. And they actually take that with good reception, because what happens is within that month's time, the natural networking effects throughout the population, the local population is like, hey, there's this environmental org that will actually pay you to clean like our local beaches, and people actually come. Word's already spread around town, and it kind of does a natural marketing. And while some people are like, oh, I don't want to go through the effort, there's actually a good amount of people that remain that are willing to do the extra steps to go and do our cleanups. So we provide a booklet for those individuals on how to set up a wallet and whatnot.
Awesome. Yeah. So that being said, like I think it's very important to have very good tokenomics design in terms of utility, sinks, and faucets for your token, right?
That is very correct.
Can you just elaborate a bit more on your tokenomics design?
Yes. So I would just like to say that the tokenomic design that we have right now is not the final iteration. So like I said, this project started a year ago as just an idea, and people rallied behind it. And so when we did our token launch earlier, since we did not have many experienced mathematicians to do proper modeling to balance the economy and whatnot, what we did is we went with a simple fee. So currently, the way we finance everything is there's a 3% fee invoked. We want to sustain our cleanups. There's a circular buyback mechanism where the treasury is refilled with Aquari every time individuals buy or sell. We want to evolve the tokenomic structure beyond that. I'm a part of a community called Launchhouse. It's A16Z backed, and there's a bunch of blockchain developers and Web3 enthusiasts that are coming together to build next generation startups. And I've actually been able to leverage a lot of individuals from that community, including had a couple conversations with Will from Syndicate DAO to actually look into creating a more I'd say the current model is sustainable, but I would say there's definitely, if you bring an economist on board, there's much better ways to improve the tokenomics. So where we're at right now is we wanted to build out the organization first, because our competitors are like, oh, let's donate money. We don't want to do that. What we want to actually create our own organization of our own labor force. And the past year was spent building out a lot of infrastructure. And now, since all that's been built out and we can actually deploy boots on the ground in given spaces, is now we're working on building the blockchain infrastructure and the MVP that will tie in the DAO tooling and everything together, if that makes sense.
Got it. And just the last one for me here. You mentioned that one of the sort of not really a goal, but one of the directions that Aquari is taking is to disrupt NGOs. Do you not think that working with NGOs would be a good way to bootstrap Aquari itself?
I do believe working with NGOs is a good way to bootstrap Aquari. So we actually do work with NGOs exist currently. We currently work with the River Cleanup. You can look them up, and we believe that in this early stage, working with existing NGOs is a good way to actually market and spread the word. Because right now, the biggest value proposition we've been able to add to NGOs is they have issues getting volunteers. You know what I mean? It's hard to get those individuals to just come out. And so while this is not possible in Western developed markets because the cost would be too high, in the developing world, it's actually really profitable to actually work with these NGOs and say, hey, work with us. We can offer a payout to individuals that come, so people can actually come and be incentivized to come out and clean. And it actually, since all this money in our protocol is not going to huge administrative costs, it's going directly to the labor, we're actually able to surprisingly have a very good cost effectiveness when it comes to deploying labor. And so what we're essentially trying to do is create a labor generation machine on the blockchain. Right now it's picking up plastic because, say if it was like carbon, right? When it comes to marketing that B2C, people want to see the impact. You can't see 3 tons of carbon and whatnot. But basically we start off with plastic because it's visual, people can see it, and it's good for allow us to bootstrap and get a good reputation amongst the population.
Got it. Thanks.
Hey, Cameron. Just curious. So, if your NGO accept donations, these money kind of stable. But if you're taking external money and they have expectations, for example, on the yields on the reward, would they make the capital more volatile, and it's going to be hard for business to get stable in the long term?
Oh wait, could you please repeat that question? You cut out in the middle.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was just thinking comparing to donations, like if you're getting money from external capital, like for example, from retailers, would that be more volatile for the project comparing with if you get like just donations?
Oh, I see what you mean. You're talking about the volatility, right? So
Right.
yes. So in the beginning, yes, that is quite volatile. But the thing is what ends up happening is that is a problem when you're at small scale. But once Aquari scales, a lot of protocols, since our income and revenues is relative to the transaction volume, correct? What ends up happening is a lot of protocols can actually on a long time scale, you can predict, oh, are we averaging, $1 million of transaction volume a day? Or are we averaging 500,000? And we can actually scale the cleanups as we go, if that makes sense. So what ends up happening is, yes, you do get the price volatility, but the beautiful thing about that is you can, once the reputation is earned, existing NGOs get people to work for free, right? With us, since we're issuing tokens, and if Aquari is a trusted name and we're reputable and people trust the underlying asset, even though when the asset's in times of recession, right, we can still issue the tokens out to individuals because there are still groups of people that are willing to give their labor because of the speculative value. Because in short term, volatility is going to be hit hard. It's like, oh, I did a cleanup. I got, say someone got like $3, right? The volatility goes down and reduces that. But the thing is, for example, say you're in the developing world and you, instead of treating your Aquari as like immediate payment, if you treat it as an investment, you go clean and whatnot and hold for, say, 6 months to a year. Well, since you have equity in the value generated by the organization as a whole, your labor could actually increase in value down the line. It could also decrease in value, but like we said, even with the decrease, NGOs are doing this with no incentive whatsoever. They like people. This is much better than a 100% capital loss.
Got it. I see. Thank you.
Harry, do you have any questions?
Well, seems like there will be no more questions from judges' sides. So appreciate your time, Cameron, for this whole participation. Very interesting projects and wonderful presentations from you. Yeah, appreciate it a lot.
No, thank you so much, Chris. It was a pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. And I think we can end it up here. Thanks for all the amazing presentation presented by 5 teams from the BNB Revolution Hackathon. You guys all did a great job. I believe this whole session is super helpful for judges and also audience to understand better about your projects and products and also your future roadmap. And yeah, so there's still a few days left for until the channel be closed for application of the hackathon. So if you're a builder, if you think you have brilliant ideas or projects to build on the BNB ecosystems, please seize the chains. Basically, it's a free entry chance, and you can leverage a lot of resources in the top resources in the industries. And also, if you're a voter, if you're a BNB token holder, please feel free to check DoraHacks page and use your token to support and vote for the projects that you want to support. Yeah, so I think we had ended up here. Thanks again for all the projects for participation and also for all the judges. Thank you very much for the time and also all the wonderful questions from you. Yeah, hope you guys could all doing great and have a wonderful night and or day. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
Bye.
you.